Hello everyone, and welcome to a mathematics lecture example video. And in this example video, I actually want to go over one of the homework questions, specifically number 14. And I realized after looking at it that 14 is probably going to be a little complicated, so I want to kind of walk through it. So the idea here is that we have sine of b equals 1 over root 3, and that we have an a equal to 2. So what I want to do before I go any farther with this particular video is say that if you got this question wrong, you will not be penalized for it, because it's a little more complicated and I don't think we fully covered everything you would need to be able to answer this question. So again, just to sort of recap what this looks like, right? We have a triangle like this with a right angle, and then we have side C, side A, and side B, and the opposite angles of B and A, right? And so what we're told here is that the sine of B is 1 over root 3. Now, this is where it gets a little bit confusing, because in order to actually answer this question, what you have to know is something about some special triangles. And so what I want to do really quickly is I want to just over here, I want to draw a special triangle. Right, and this special triangle has a side length of S here, right? A side length of root 3s here, and a side length of 2s here. And the reason that I want to draw your attention to this is because if we look at this triangle here, which we know that this is 2, right? And then we look at the sine, right? The sine of b is equal to the, right, sine of b, right? Sine is always going to be opposite over hypotenuse, right? That's the SO part of SOHCAHTOA. And so what we're saying is that the ratio, right? Because again, this 1 is not the length of the opposite side. This root 3 is not the length of the hypotenuse, right? This 1 over root 3, this is the ratio of opposite to hypotenuse. So we have a ratio of 1 to root 3. Whenever you see a 1 here and a root 3 here, that tells you have this sort of special triangle, right? Because there's a root 3 here and an S here. Right, so if you were to take the if you were to look at this, right, the s's would cancel out and you'd be left with root 3 over 1, right? If you were to take the ratio of this, right, root 3 times s over s, right? That's the same thing as a trigonometric ratio, right? The s's would cancel out and you'd be left with root 3. Or conversely, right, if you were to have s over root 3s, right, the s's would cancel out and you'd be left with 1 over root 3. Right, so whenever you see this 1 over root 3, that's an indication that you have this special sort of triangle over here. So in order to answer this, right, we have to realize that we're now setting this up in terms of this special triangle, where A is going to be equal to S, right? B is going to be equal to root 3s, and C is going to be equal to 2s. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So we know that A is equal to S. So we know that A is equal to 2. We now know that C is going to be equal to 2 times S, which is going to be equal to 4. And then we know that B is going to be equal to 2 times the square root of 3. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. If this does not make sense, I strongly encourage you to please reach out. And as always, thank you.